Namaste. I'm going to be leading this yin practice based on the fourth chakra. We're going to be working with the arms and the hands, which I consider the extensions of the heart or the wings of the heart. We'll be doing some heart opening postures. This whole week in my classes, I've been talking in detail about this particular energy center. What I want to kind of narrow it down to for today's yin practice is this idea that the most common block that we experience here is the lack of self-love. And since yin is a very inward practice, I want us to really dive deep within and take a good look at ourselves and be in the question, am I, capable of self-love? Am I practicing self-love? And even the importance and the relevance of it. I will say I went from a long-term relationship with my high school sweetheart to a short-term, but a few years relationship with my child's father. And then after we divorced, I spent 10 years being, single and not dating a lot. And I realized at some point during that time frame that I wasn't loving on myself at all. And I think this is very important because it's something I wish we could teach children at a younger age. I think something happens when we're a teenager that kind of derails us. And then we have to spend like half of our adulthood trying to reclaim aspect. I don't know. I don't think I'm alone in this. But this is going to be our contemplative food for thought as we practice. So I'll meet you on the mat. You'll want 2 blocks for sure. We're going to start with the backbend, and we're going to use both blocks for this. So the first one's going to be on its tallest height, and the second one on the middle height, just a few inches in between. And then you're going to extend your legs. Take the first block under the spine, being right up underneath your rib cage. And the tallest block is going to be right underneath the skull. And allow the arms to kind of fan to the sides with your palms open. The palms open, representing being able to give and receive. Take some deep breaths in and out through the nose, making sure that your body's settling into this posture. If it's cutting too deep in your body somewhere, sometimes just lifting back up, sliding the blocks closer or farther away. And you can just experiment until you get to that just right spot. If you're able to just sink onto that prop, you'll notice that it's really opening up the cavity of the chest. And it's that place in the chest that can sometimes get sunken in. And we're unconsciously protecting ourselves, protecting our heart. Taking refuge within. Kind of that posture you would imagine that matches up with that emotion of feeling depressed. Just think about when you're slumping or slouching in your posture. You're not just shrouding over your heart, but you're shrinking in the upper body, collapsing in the upper body, which closes off the space surrounding your lungs. It will cause a shorter or more shallow breath, which can interfere with the state of the mind. It can interfere with digestion, compromise our immunity. Just feel how we're really opening up the cave of the chest. Take some deep breaths. In and out through the nose. Build up the wave of the breath so the heart begins to become buoyant upon it. Chest expanding on the inhale and softening on the exhale. Clearing your respiratory system. Seven more breaths. Take the arms back in, palms face down. Feel the head up, gripping your belly as you push down through the palms, and then just build yourself up to sit. All you need to do is take the blocks away. You're going to come down to your back, take a hold of the feet into Ananda Balasana, happy baby. Now we're just securing the back to the floor. Drawing gently down on the feet, allowing the knees to splay open. I'm just going to hold here and breathe. And dependent on whether or not you can bend your arms in this position, and depending on the grip you have, if you can bend the arms, fly the elbows up and out and then roll down through the back of your shoulders so that you feel more open in the center of your chest, spreading across the collarbones. Still focusing on the fourth chakra, even in this position that primarily focuses on the second. On your next exhalation, go ahead and release your grip of the feet, plant them down on the floor. We're going to do a bridge flow. So bring the arms alongside you, palms face downward, spread through the toes. Press down through the soles of the feet, tuck the tailbone, lift thighs, hips, abdomen, chest, arms circle overhead, back of the hands land at the time your hips are to their highest degree. And then as you exhale, we're going to lift the arms and slowly roll it down, one vertebra at a time. Sacrum and hands touching down at the same time. All right, inhale, rising into Setu Bandhasana. And exhale, rolling back down to the floor. Continue the sequence. Only difference now is when you're at the top, try to pull the heart up a little bit higher and then exhale, roll it down. So really focus on that fourth chakra at the top of the inhale. You can even pause with your breath to give yourself that extra boost. And then exhale, control it back down to the earth. 3 more. Last one. Now, hopefully your blocks are not too far away because we're now going to take one hand to find a block, slip it up underneath the body, specifically up underneath your sacrum. Holding what's called a restorative bridge. In the belly to rise and fall. Allowing the heart center to rise and fall. Stay in that position. Think of the way we started this practice. The most common block is the lack of self-love. Oftentimes, it is said that our relationship with others often reflects the ones that we have with ourselves. What is the relationship you have with yourself? How do you treat yourself? How well do you know yourself? And are you kind and compassionate to yourself? What is the relationship you have to yourself? How do you treat yourself? How well do you know yourself? And are you kind and compassionate to yourself? On your next inhalation, I want us to focus on the shoulders. I want you to slowly roll and tuck one shoulder at a time. So when you externally rotate the arms, you'll find that you kind of spin down towards your pinky fingers. Sometimes we lace the hands, but the block's probably going to be in the way. And just kind of open up the door of your heart here. As you exhale, surrender. The shoulders can slide apart. And then you're going to float your feet in the air. Taking waterfall. The fluids from the lower body coming back down to the pool of the belly and trickling down to the heart. And eventually on to the lake of the mind. To the heart, because it lies in the center. Said to be all about balance and harmony. Think of the lower chakras as being more of the physical, the upper chakras being more of the spiritual. So it's matter meeting spirit. They say Shakti at the base of the spine, Shiva at the top. In the heart, they meet. There is the altar for their marriage to occur. Blending of the masculine and the feminine. The mind and the body. All right, exhale, let's land the feet down to the floor. Slowly tuck the tailbone, remove that block, roll it down. And then you're gonna fly the right leg up. Your hands can lace behind your leg. Anywhere up the leg, dependent on your flexibility. But I want you to remember the practice of self-care stemming from self-love. When we practice self-love, we honor our limitations. If you're struggling to have your hands up higher to the calf of the foot, bring it back down. It's not worth it. And you're not honoring your limitation. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the left leg. Place the hands behind it. Perhaps sliding it up. Support yourself here with your breath. Exhale, release. Take a quick hug of the knees. Remember the arms are the extensions or wings of the heart. So you're wrapping yourself up with love. Rocking side to side. Pausing to some degree when the knees shift off center, where you feel that stretch across your low back. Maybe in the side glutes. Giving some love to your back and kidneys. Go ahead and descend your feet to the floor. Turn over onto your belly. All right, we're gonna do like a shoelace arms or a threading of the arms. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I'll give you a choice. For a lot of people, they just enjoy being in a prone position. I actually love this one. And you're crossing one arm over the other and then slip and sliding them through. And then your chin will just rest on the upper arm and you can close your eyes. Now, if you wanted to add in, say, a tadpole pose, then you could bring the big toes together to touch, lay the knees apart, flip your hands open, slip and slide them through, and do it this way. This one obviously gives you a little bit more sensation, as well as more in the lower body versus the legs straight. But I'm going to go back to the first one. Go ahead and cross your arms, slip and slide them through, bow the head. And I would recommend widening the feet, separating the legs, because that will help to soften your seat and relax your back. Just relax and breathe here. To love ourselves is to act respectfully and responsibly towards ourselves. To love ourselves is to act responsibly and respectfully to ourselves. On your next inhalation, we're slowly going to lift the head up, slide the arms back in. And if you're in the prone position, you're just going to swap which arm is out in front. Take them back through, bow the head back down. And if you were in the tadpole position, you would be coming up, flipping the hands, and then coming back down this way. And when you return to your breath, focus on extending out your exhalations longer. Hold for 7 more. Bring a state of quality to the breath. Pranayama is a great way to balance the heart chakra. The element is air. You're in the tadpole position. Go ahead and come back up. Join the rest of us in the prone position. Because now we're going to enter Sphinx. Coming to the forearms. And then we need to slim up the legs. So lengthen your legs back behind you. Kind of close the heels in a little bit. Press down to the forearms. Draw up through your navel, your heart, through the crown of your head. Now, this is the more active formation. If you feel like you want to be more yin, relaxing the legs, separating the feet, softening and melting the belly downward, then you can take it towards that more yin directive. And breathe. And start to turn your hands towards the corners of your mat. Press into your hands so the elbows lift up. And you're rising up into seal. This is a lot of compression in the low back. If that does not feel comfortable to you, you can come back down to Sphinx. And we're not going to hold this one as long. So notice in these taller, more dynamic back bends, how it's very heart opening. It's very expressive. Representing the expressions of the heart. Compassion, forgiveness, gratitude, devotion. Exhale, we're slowly going to come back down. The hands are going to draw back under the shoulders. We're going to push up to tabletop position. The legs are going to crawl forward. The knees are going to come together. And we're going to fold over the lap and circle the arms around to child's. Let your hips get heavy. Let your head get heavy. Breathe into your back. Consider how loving ourselves we're able to be in solitude. We're able to enjoy and appreciate the aspects of solitude. I'm going to give you silence here now. Breathe into the back door of the heart. Inhale, stretch the arms forward, rise up to tabletop. Flip your left palm open, thread and loop it underneath your right arm. Sink down to the left ear. Not choosing to be active in this approach, but you can get passive. Yin or yang, your choice. Also consider how the yin-yang symbol could be a nice symbol for the fourth chakra, representing that harmony and balance. One of the symbols of the fourth chakra is the triangle, pointed upward, but also overlaid on the triangle that's pointed downward. One representing water, one representing fire, one representing the heavens, one representing the earth. Slowly come back. Flip your right hand open, thread and loop it under. Choosing your approach, active or passive. When you're ready, gently returning to tabletop. And I would suggest finding your bolster. You may also need a blanket that folds up like this. Okay, I'll show you why you may need the blanket. We're going to do restorative fish. So the bolster goes sideways on the mat. We roll over it, and you want your shoulders, your head, and your neck to the opposite side of your seat. Okay. Now, this forms pretty well to my body, but I know it doesn't form well to a lot of bodies. So if you were feeling a lot of tension here or discomfort in your low back, you would take the blanket and sit on it to build your hips higher. So you're not getting as deep of a back bend in that particular area. Now, you might have had the opposite experience. You might have been great in your low back, but for whatever reason, you get here and you're just kind of stuck. Your shoulders won't quite lay back and you're jackknifing your neck. That's when we would put the blanket on the backside. So then you're propped up with your shoulders, upper back, head, and neck. Not as dramatic. So find the one that suits you. And actually, that felt really good. I'm going to stay in this one. I usually don't use a blanket, but sometimes it's nice just to do it differently. Have a different experience. So close your eyes. Back to your breath. Feel your chest expanding on your in-breath. Softening on the out-breath. Oftentimes when we're really opening the body this way, we can feel vulnerable. Try to allow that, try to open to it, try to lean into it. And enter into the cave of your heart. Joseph Campbell used to say, the cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. The cave that you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. Right. And roll to one side of your body. And move that blanket to the side. Bring the bolster out in front. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lean the bolster up like this and take the two blocks underneath. And that's going to support the legs. We're going to take the blanket, unless you need it for a pillow. If you don't, you're going to open it up, fold it long ways in half, place it over your abdomen and tuck it into your side waist. And the arms are going to stretch overhead. And this is going to be our lounging position for Savasana. Take some deep breaths. Yin is a great way to ground down into the body. And hopefully your mind is slow to the degree where you're dropping out of your head and more into your heart. Place your hands up underneath your head. Stack the feet on top of the prop. And then fan the knees open and apart. Now, remove the blanket. Draw the knees together, wrap your arms lovingly around, and gently sway the knees from side to side. Come back to the center, circle the knees round and round. Other direction. And then eventually coming up to take a seat. I hope this practice helps you to drop in to meet your true self at your heart. Continue to practice self-care and self-love. Bringing the hands together to Anjali Mudra. The love and light within me honors and bows to the love and the light within each of you. Namaste.